Situation 8, past board. Maraming beses nang lumabas itong problem na to sa board exam. So, ang topic natin ay beam bearing plate. So, mapapansin nyo na yung beam ay nakapatong sa bearing plate at yung bearing plate ay nakapatong sa concrete wall. So, actually, hindi natin pwedeng ipatong si steel beam directly kay concrete wall. So, kailangan ng bearing plate sa pagitan ng dalawa. So imagine, ang beam, ang member ay steel at ang support niya ay wall which is concrete. So kapag ang support which is concrete is weaker than the member, then kailangan nating lagyan ng bearing plate. Ang purpose ng bearing plate ay kapareho lang ng purpose ng footing. So halimbawa meron tayong concrete column. Siyempre ang concrete column, hindi naman natin siya ipapatong direkta sa soil kasi ang support ay soil which is weaker than the member, than the concrete column. So dahil matibay ang concrete, so malaki yung kanyang load na mabibitbit, pero kapag ipinasa ni concrete yung load niya kay soil which is weaker, so hindi kakayanin ni soil ang load na dinadala ni concrete. So para kayanin ni soil, ang gagawin natin is magpo-provide tayo ng footing. So ang ginagawa ni footing is ini-spread out niya yung load. Okay, so mas lumalawak yung area, so therefore yung stress na dinadala ng support ay magiging maliit. So ganyan din ang purpose ng bearing plate. So kung si steel beam ay nakapatong direkta sa concrete wall, then maaaring hindi kayanin ni concrete wall yung load na dinadala ni steel beam. So kailangan nating lagyan ng bearing plate para lumawak yung area at lumiit ngayon yung stress na binibitbit ni concrete wall. So kapag ang support is weaker than the member, kailangan nating mag-provide ng footing or ng base plate or any element na medyo malapad at malaki yung area para ma-spread out yung load at mapaliit yung stress. Okay, ang dimension ng bearing plate ay B by N. So take note na ang B is the width at yung N naman is the length. So pag sinabing width, automatic yun ay B, at kapag length, automatic siya ay N. So wag niyong pagpapalitin yung width and length. So sa footing, ito yung width at ang symbol is B. So pareho lang naman ng description ng notation, yung width ng bearing plate tsaka width ng footing, pareho silang B. Given sa problem yung mga allowable stresses, so bearing stress on support is 0.35 FC prime. At itong bearing stress na ito ay ginagamit yan sa pagdetermine ng dimensions B by N. Given din yung bending stress on the plate, at itong bending stress naman ay ginagamit yan sa computation ng thickness ng bearing plate. Given yung beam end reaction 240, at yung 240 na yan, siya yung magiging load sa bearing plate. So yung reaction sa support, siya na mismo yung magiging load sa bearing plate. Unang tanong, number 22. Determine the required length of the bearing plate if the width is 250 mm. Then pangalawang tanong, number 23. Using a bearing plate with dimensions 250 mm wide by 200 mm length along the wall, determine the required bearing plate thickness. And para sa pangatlong tanong, number 24, determine the web yielding stress which occurs at a distance n plus 2.5 K. The bearing plate is 250 wide by 200 long along the wall. Para sa unang tanong, number 22, determine the required length of the bearing plate. So ang tinatanong is the length of the bearing plate. So tinatanong is N. If the width is 250 mm. So yung B, yung width, siya daw ay 250 mm. So para sa design ng dimension B by N, ang basis ng design ay yung bearing stress. At yung bearing stress ay nagaganap yon sa contact area between the bearing plate and the wall. So sa ilalim ni bearing plate, nagaganap yung bearing stress. At given sa problem yung yung allowable bearing stress 0.35 FC prime. So formula, the bearing stress is equal to the force divided by the area, at itong area na ito is the area of the bearing plate. So the stress is equal to the allowable bearing stress 0.35. FC prime is given 27.5 megapascal, then equal to the load. So the load is given 240, the beam reaction, then divide by the area of the base plate, which is equal to B by N. So that N is equal to 99.74 mm. So ang nasa choices ay 100. So say 100, and the answer is letter A. Next, pangalawang tanong, number 23. Using a bearing plate with dimensions 250 mm wide by 200 mm length along the wall. So sinabi 250 mm wide, so B is 250. And 200 mm length, so N is 200. At sinabi rito, so 200 mm length along the wall. So take note na ang tinutukoy na along the wall is yung direction ng bearing plate. So kung ito yung wall, so nilatag yung bearing plate along the wall. So yung B, yung magiging along the wall, okay? So yung B yung parallel sa wall. At ang tinatanong is the thickness. Sa pangalawang tanong, ang required is the thickness. At sa analysis ng thickness, ang basis is the bending. So kumbaga sa footing, yung overhang ay magbe-bend. At meron tayong syempre critical section for bending. So dito sa topic natin, ito yung critical section at ito yung portion na magbe-bend. Yung length ng overhang is na subjected sa bending is N, at yung distance ng critical section from the center line of the cross section is the distance K. So actually given sa problem yung distance K, yan ay property ng I section, at given yung K 35. At ang width ay given 250. So based from the figure, masosolve na natin yung overhang length, yung N, equal to kalahati ni B, and then bawasan ng K. So B is given 250, then over 2 minus K 35. So the overhang length is equal to 90 millimeters. The next, solve for the actual bearing stress equal to force over area of the bearing plate. So the force is the load 240, and the area of the bearing plate is given. B is 250, N is 200, so that the actual bearing stress is equal to 4.8 megapascals. The next, to solve for the thickness, we apply this formula. So thickness is equal to 2N times the square root of the actual bearing stress divided by Fy. And take note na ang formulang ito ay applicable lang kapag yung allowable bending stress is 0.75 Fy. At kung saan galing itong formula na to at bakit ganito yung limitation niya, 0.75 Fy, ay pag-uusapan natin mamaya. So direct substitute lang naman yung mga data. So N is 90, Fp is 4.8, Fy is 248, so that the thickness is equal to 25.04 mm. So ito yung mga choices para sa thickness. Number 23, letter A 25 mm, letter B 32 mm, letter C 36 mm, and letter D 28 mm. So theoretically kapag tinatanong ay thickness, so dapat siya ay round up, dapat na. Kaso lang, so pag ni-round up natin, so ibig sabihin ang pipiliin natin 28. Medyo nakakaduda kasi medyo may kalakihan yung pag-round up, malaki yung yung itinalo ng value, no. So kung nasa choices sana ay 26, okay sana yan 26. Kaso nung ni-round up ang nasa choices 28. So medyo magdududa tayo sa 28. So yung iba naman, ang iniisip, dahil maliit lang naman yung decimal 0.04, kaya sinasabi ng iba na pwede na raw yung 25. Actually, theoretically, mali talaga yung 25, di ba? So ang dapat naman talaga kasi is round up. Pero i-consider din natin yung mga nangyayari sa board exam, no? So kung medyo aware kayo sa mga past boards at naaral nyo na ito, so mapapansin nyo na minsan nagkakaroon din ng mistake yung examiner. So may mga examples sa actual board exam na minsan nagkakamali sa pag-round off yung examiner. So meron akong naalala, halimbawa sa foundation, ang tinatanong ng examiner ay is the width. So halimbawa ang sagot ay 2.14. So dapat talaga ang sagot 2.2, di ba? Round up. Pero ang nasa choices ay 2.1. So hindi natin alam kung intentional ba na nilagay ng examiner yung 2.1 or hindi, at intentional ba na hindi niya nilagay yung 2.2, ang nilagay niya 2.1. Is it nagkamali kaya siya sa pag-round off, na imbis na dapat i-round up ay ginawa niya i-round down, or sinadya niya na ang piliin ay 2.1 kasi may dahilan siya. So judgment nyo na kung sino pipiliin nyo, kung yung 25 ba or yung 28. Pero yun nga, kung ang nasa choices sana ay 26, so walang duda 26 yun, round up. Pero kung ang nakalagay sa choices ay malaki yung itinalon nung nag-round up, at dahil medyo maliit lang naman itong decimal na ito, 0.04, so highly probable na ang nasa isip ng examiner dito is letter A. So choice nyo na rin yun. Kung gusto nyong letter D, choice nyo yun, ha. So anyway, sinasabi ko lang class na minsan kasi syempre tao lang din si examiner, so minsan nagkakamali rin siya sa pag-round off. So highly probable na ang nangyari dito is nineglect niya yung 0.04 at ang pinili niya 25 mm. Para sa pangatlong tanong, number 24, so ang tinatanong is the web yielding stress. So given sa problem yung dimension ng bearing plate, B by N, so B is 250 mm and N is 200. So ito yung N, 200. At sinabi sa problem na yung web yielding stress is nag-o-occur at a distance of N plus 2.5K. So may binanggit na N plus 2.5K. So ano ba yung web yielding stress? At saan ba ito nangyayari? So halimbawa merong beam and subjected sa concentrated load. And then syempre merong reactions, concentrated din. So ang web yielding stress ay nangyayari ito kung saan present yung concentrated force. So dito sa point of application ng load, so merong concentrated force. So pwedeng dito maganap yung web yielding. At sa support, ang force ay concentrated. So pwede ring mangyari yung web yielding sa support. So kung saan mayroong concentrated force, then doon mangyayari yung web yielding. At ang magdadala ng web yielding stress is the web. Okay, so ito yung cross section, I section. At dito sa I section, merong sa junction ng flange and web ay merong fillet. At yung distance mula sa dito sa dulo ng fillet hanggang sa extreme fiber ng flange, yan yung distance K. So kanina, sinabi natin sa pangalawang tanong na yung K is magmula sa gitna hanggang sa critical section for bending. Pero approximate lang naman yon. So ang totoo talagang K is the distance from the toe ng fillet hanggang sa extreme fiber ng flange. So ito yun, ito yung distance K. Then ito naman yung top view ng beam. So ang sabi, na yung web yielding daw ay mangyayari sa distance na n plus 2.5k. So ang nangyari class, bale nagkaroon tayo ng pa-slant na stress distribution. So pa-slant. So ang magdadala kasi ng web yielding is the web. At ito yun. So ito yung area ng web na subjected sa web yielding stress. At ang kanyang dimensions ay thickness of the web and the length is n plus 2.5k. So meron tayong 2.5k na stress distribution. So naka-slant yung stress distribution ng 2.5k sa horizontal. So the formula for the web yielding stress is the force or the reaction divided by the area of the web, which is equal to TW times n plus 2.5k. So itong formulang ito ay applicable kapag ang ina-analyze natin is yung web yielding sa end reaction. So itong formulang ito ay dahil sa end reaction, so para dito siya sa support. Then para naman sa web yielding under the concentrated load, ang formula naman, the force P divided by the area of the web, which is equal to the thickness of the web times n plus 5k. So kaya naging 5 kasi under the interior load, so meron tayong stress distribution na 2.5k pakaliwa and 2.5k pa kanan, so that the total length is n plus 5k. So ito naman yung formula para sa web yielding for the interior load. So under the interior load. Dito sa problem natin, dahil ang involved ay support, so ito ngayon yung applicable na formula. So the web yielding stress is equal to the reaction, which is given 240 divided by the thickness of the web is 10, then n is 200 plus 2.5 and k is 35. So the web yielding stress is equal to 83.48 megapascal. At ang nasa choices ay 83, letter D. So kapag na-over-stress yung web, so hindi kakayanin ni web yung concentrated force, so ang mangyayari, pwedeng mag-yield ito. So pag nag-yield, ganito itsura ni web. Ganito itsura ni cross-section. So ayan. Pag-usapan natin yung derivation ng formula for the thickness ng bearing plate. So ito yung critical section for bending. So itong shaded area na ito yung area na magdadala ng bending stress. Then meron tayong cantilever length N. Then so ito ngayon yung axis of rotation. So itong overhang length na to, yung N, ay magbe-bend yan upward. So dito sa ilalim, merong bearing stress. Merong bearing pressure. At yung bearing pressure, kapag minultiply by yung area ng ilalim, which is big N times small n, so magiging ano siya, force. At syempre yung force na yan ay meron siyang lever arm, at ang lever arm niya is kalahati ng n, so that the moment sa critical section is equal to the force, which is equal to Fp big N small n times the lever arm n over 2, or simplify, Fp big N small n square over 2. So yan na yung moment sa critical section. And then bending stress is equal to mc over I. So the bending moment is Fp times big N small n square over 2. And then the distance C is magmula sa axis of rotation hanggang sa top or hanggang sa bottom, and that is kalahati ng thickness. Then over the inertia of the cross section is 1 over 12. The base is N, the height is T, then cube. Then simplify, the bending stress is equal to, so 12 over 4 is 3, then FP, cancel yung big N, then times small n square, then over, cancel yung isang t, so t square. So that t is equal to square root of 3 FP n square over, yung FB by the way is the allowable bending stress. So FB. So ito na yung formula for, simplify pa natin muna. So the thickness is equal to N, then square root 3 FP over FB. So ito na yung formula for the thickness for any value of the allowable bending stress. Then if the bending stress is 0.75 Fy, then i-plug in natin siya dun sa formula. So the thickness is equal to N square root of 3 FP over 0.75 Fy. Simplify. So N square root 3 over 0.75 is 4. Then FP over Fy. So the thickness is equal to 2N times square root of FP over Fy. So ito naman yung formula for the thickness na applicable lang kapag FB is equal to 0.75 Fy. Situation 15, ang topic natin ay column base plate. So si steel column ay hindi natin pwedeng ipatong direkta sa concrete kasi nga ang concrete is weaker, samantalang ang member natin, column, is steel, which is stronger. So kailangan nating lagyan ng base plate. So para ma-redistribute yung yung load, lalaki yung area, so therefore liliit yung stress. So given yung dimension ng concrete support ng concrete pedestal 400 by 400, at sinabi na ang pedestal daw and base plate ay same dimensions. So ang dimension ng base plate ay ganoon na rin, 400 mm by 400 mm. So ang mga required para sa unang tanong, the capacity of the column. Sa pangalawang tanong, the capacity of the concrete support. At sa pangatlong tanong, the thickness of the base plate, the minimum thickness. Unang tanong, number 43, is the actual capacity of the column. So given yung effective length 5 meters, given yung radius of gyration RY 33.66 millimeters, given yung FY 248, then solve for the slenderness ratio, so KL over R. So kung isa lang yung binigay na R, so understood na ito na yung gagamitin. So the slenderness ratio is equal to the effective length 5,000 millimeters, then divide by RY 33.66. So the slenderness ratio is equal to 148.54. The next, solve for CC. So formula is square root of 2 pi square E over Fy. So substitute the data. So 2 pi square, elasticity is 200,000 megapascal, divide by Fy 248. So CC is equal to 126.17. And since the slenderness ratio is greater than CC, then the column is long. Then sabi ni code, kapag long column, the formula for the allowable axial compressive stress is 12 pi square E over 23, then KL over R square. Then substitute the data. So 12 pi square, then E is 200,000, then over 23, then KL over R is 148.54, and then square. So the allowable axial compressive stress is equal to 46.68 megapascal. Then axial stress, FA, is equal to the force divided by the area. So kung ang tinatanong ay capacity, then itong stress na to must be the allowable. So 46.68 equals the capacity divided by the cross-sectional area is given 4,187, so that the actual capacity of the column is equal to 195,449.16 newtons, or equal to 195.45 kilonewtons. And since the column is long, ang mode of failure is buckling. So pag na-reach itong 195, then yung column ay magbabakal or babaluktot. So hindi pwedeng lumagpas ng 195. So ang load na kayang bitbitin ni column para hindi siya magbakal is hanggang 195 kilonewtons lang. So ang sagot is letter B. Para sa pangalawang tanong, number 44, the bearing capacity of the pedestal. So kailangan muna nating malaman yung allowable bearing stress ni concrete. So ito yung provision. So una, on full area of concrete support. So yung area 1 is the bearing area. So yan actually yung area ng base plate. So yung bearing area is the contact area between the base plate and the concrete support. And yung area 2 naman is the full cross-sectional area of the concrete support. So pag sinabing on full area of concrete support, then area base plate, which is area 1, is equal to the area of the concrete support, area 2. So pag equal yung size ng concrete support and ng base plate, then the allowable stress is 0.35 FC prime. Then sa pangalawang provision naman, on less than the full area of concrete support, so ibig sabihin, yung area ni base plate ay mas maliit kumpara sa area ni concrete support, then ito naman yung provision. And merong maximum value of the allowable bearing stress, 0.7 FC prime. So kapag naging greater than 0.7 FC prime, so use 0.7 FC prime. So sa problem natin, given yung size ng base plate at ng pedestal at pareho nga raw sila na 400 by 400. So since equal yung area ng base plate and ng concrete support, then ang applicable na provision for the allowable bearing stress is 0.35 FC prime. Then formula, the bearing stress is equal to the force divided by the area. So yung area na ito is the contact area between the base plate and the concrete support. At yung contact area na yon is actually area 1, the area of the base plate. Then given yung allowable bearing stress, 0.35, FC prime is 21, then equals the actual capacity of the bearing plate, bearing capacity ng pedestal, then divide by the area 400 by 400, so that P is equal to 1,176,000 newtons, or equal to 1,176 kilonewtons. So kapag na-reach itong capacity na to, then si concrete pedestal ay magfe-fail sa bearing. So meaning madudurog yung concrete support. Pangatlong tanong, number 45, the minimum required thickness of the base plate. So given sa problem yung size ng base plate, 400 by 400, so B is 400, L is 400. Given din yung measurements ng I-section, BF is 146.1 mm, depth is 258.3 mm. Para sa column base plates, ang bending is two-way. So base sa figure, dalawa yung directions ng bending. So merong bending along the dimension B. So yung cantilever length is N. So ito yung critical section. So magbe-bend ito pataas. And then sa kabilang direction along L, meron ding bending. So ito yung critical section. At yung cantilever length M, so siya yung magbe-bend. The next, isolve natin yung mga cantilever lengths. So based from the figure, very obvious. that B is equal to 0.8 BF. So tandaan nyo na yung 0.8 BF at saka yung 0.95 D. So yan yung locations ng critical sections for bending. So B is equal to 0.8 BF then plus 2N. Then substitute the data. B is 400, BF is 146.1, then plus 2N. So N is equal to 141.56 mm. Then obvious then from the figure that L is equal to 0.95 D plus 2M. L is given 400, D is 258.3, then plus 2M. So M is equal to 77.3075 mm. At ang pipiliin natin sa dalawa is the longer overhang. So ang mag-govern is yung 141. So mas critical kung mas mahaba yung cantilever length. The next, solve for the actual bearing stress equal to force over area. So para sa force, dalawa yung pinagpipilian natin. Yung isa is galing sa unang tanong, capacity of column is 195.45, at yung pangalawa naman galing sa pangalawang tanong, the capacity of the concrete pedestal P is 1176. So sino sa kanilang dalawa ang gagamitin sa pag-compute ng thickness? So since hindi pwedeng lumagpas sa 195 at hindi rin pwedeng lumagpas sa 1176 yung actual load, then ang mag-govern is obviously the smaller value. So itong smaller value na to yung gagamitin natin sa computation ng thickness. So the actual bearing pressure is equal to the force P, 195.45, multiply by 1000 para maging newtons, and the area of the base plate is 400 by 400. So the actual bearing stress is equal to 1.2216 megapascals. Then formula for thickness, 2 times M plus M or N, whichever governs, then times the square root of FP over Fy. So na-derive natin ito using FB equal to 0.75 Fy. So kung walang sinabi regarding the allowable bending stress, then automatic yon, we use 0.75 Fy. And since M or N, ang nag-govern is N, which is the longer overhang, so we use 141.56, then times the square root of FP is 1.2216 divided by Fy, 248 megapascals. So the thickness is equal to 19.87 mm. So say round up 20 mm. So ang sagot is 20 mm, letter B. Next problem, situation 25. So itong problem na to ay past board at maraming beses nang lumabas ito sa board exam. So ang nangyari, meron tayong column at sa column ay may nakakabit na bracket. At ang cross section ng bracket is angular. And then sa bracket ay may nakapatong na beam. So given yung size ng bracket, 75 by 75. So yun yung size ng legs ng angle. And then by 15, yun naman yung thickness ng angle, 15, is 200 millimeters long. So yung length ng angle is 200 mm. So ito siya, 200 mm. It is connected to the 16 millimeter thick flange of the column support. So ang thickness ng flange ni column is 16 with 2 of 16 mm diameter bolts. So size ng bolts 16 mm. The bracket is subjected to a load of 42 kilonewtons from beam A. So meron daw load na 42 kilonewtons na galing kay beam. Unang tanong, number 73. is the critical bolt bearing stress. So ang sabi, critical bolt bearing stress. Actually, madali lang ang topic natin. Medyo kailangan nga lang ng malawak na imahinasyon dito. So madali lang ang proseso, ang solution, pero kailangan lang ng konting imahinasyon. So take note, para sa bearing, ang relationship ng force and area, silang dalawa ay perpendicular. So si area is perpendicular to the force. So kung ang load P natin ay pababa, which is vertical, so dapat yung area must be horizontal. So ang bearing area ay makikita natin kapag yung connection ay tinignan natin ng top view. So ito na yung itsura kapag top view. So ito si poste at may nakadikit na angle at naka-bolts. Sa konting imahinasyon, actually dalawa ang sagot para sa unang tanong. Kasi pwedeng mangyari ang bearing stress dito sa shaded area na ito. At pwede ring mangyari ang bearing stress sa shaded area na ito. So dalawa ang pagpipilian natin para sa unang tanong. So given sa problem yung thickness ng column flange 16 at given din yung thickness ng angle 15. So para sa bearing on the column flange, so pwedeng mangyari ang bearing dun sa column flange so the bearing stress is equal to the load P, which is 42 times 1,000 para maging newtons, then divide by the contact area between the bolt and the column flange. So yun yung kulay orange. And yung dimension is 16 millimeters thick of the flange by 16 mm diameter bolt. And then, dalawa yung areas na kulay orange, so times 2. So the bearing stress between the bolt and the column flange is 82.03 megapascals. Then para naman sa bearing on the angle, so meron ding bearing stress between the bolt and the angle. So the bearing stress is equal to the load, then divide by the area. So the thickness of the angle is 15 times the diameter of the bolt 16, and then dalawa sila times 2, so that the bearing stress between the bolt and the angle is 87.5 megapascals. At ang tinatanong sa problem is the critical bolt bearing stress. So ang critical is the larger value. So ang sagot 87.5 megapascal. So critical ang bearing sa angle kasi mas malaki yung stress, yung bearing stress sa angle. At ang sagot is letter D. Okay, pangalawang tanong, number 74, the bolt shear stress. Okay, so kapag naman shear property, alam na natin that the load is parallel to the shear area. So sa problem natin, kung ang load ay vertical, then ang shear area is vertical. So actually ang shear area ng bolt ay ito yan. Itong cross section na to. At ang itsura ng cross section ay bilog. So the shear stress is equal to the force over the area shear. So the force is 42,000 newtons, then divide by the cross-sectional area of the bolts, pi over 4, 16 millimeter diameter square, times 1. So times 1 kasi yung bolt is under single shear, and since dalawa sila, so meron pang multiplier na 2. So the shear stress is equal to 104.45 megapascals. At ang sagot is letter A. Pangatlong tanong, number 75. what is the bearing pressure on the bracket? So tinatanong is the bearing pressure on the bracket. Okay, ito ngayon yung bracket, and then ito nung shaded area yung bearing area. So since ang dimension ng leg ng angle is 75, tapos merong gap dito na 3 mm, so therefore ito ay 72 mm, and yung length ng bracket is 200 mm daw. So ito yung 200 mm, at merong load na 42 kilonewtons. So sa bearing, the force is perpendicular to the area. So since the load is vertical, so the bearing area is horizontal. So the bearing stress is equal to the force over the area. So the force is 42,000 newtons divided by the contact area equal to 72 by 200. So the bearing stress, the bearing pressure on the bracket is equal to 2.92 megapascals, at ang sagot is letter A. Okay, ito yung nangyari na. So ang dimension ng angle ay 75, tapos yung contact dimension is 72 kasi merong 3 millimeters na gap. So yung 72 na yon, kalahati is 36. So yun yung location ng load. So 36 plus the gap 3. So therefore distance ni load from the column flange is 39 mm. Then walang binigay na location ng bolt. So sabihin na lang natin na kunwari kalahati. So kung 75 ito, then kalahati at 37.5. So additional data na lang ito na. So dinagdag na lang natin. So dahil sa load na 42 kilonewtons, ang mangyayari kay angle, magbe-bend ito. So ito magiging itsura pag nag-bend. So obviously, yung bolt is under tension. So under tension yung bolt. Tapos merong portion dito na under compression. So hindi man tinatanong pero sasagutin na rin natin ano yung tensile stress sa bolt and ano yung compressive stress doon sa contact area between the column flange and the angle. Okay, say ito yung neutral axis. And distance niya from bottom is unknown. So tawagin natin x. And distance from the bolt is 37.5 minus x. So yung bolt yung under tension. At ito namang contact area na ito yung under compression. So kailangan isolve na muna natin yung x. So to solve for x, we apply statical moment of area at the neutral axis. So ang analysis dito, ang proseso rito ay similar sa WSD sa RCD. So at the neutral axis, so the statical moment of area of the compressive part is the area compression is 200 x and the lever arm is x over 2. So yan yung statical moment of area ng compressive area about the neutral, and then equal yan sa statical moment of area ng area under tension. So bali ang area under tension ay volts. So the area pi over 416 square, dalawa sila, and distance from the neutral axis is 37.5 minus x. So that x is equal to 10.4328142 millimeters. The next, solve for the moment of inertia about the neutral axis. So para sa compressive area, so bali rectangular, at tayo ay kukuha ng inertia about its base, about the neutral axis. So yung neutral axis will be the base ng rectangle. So the inertia of rectangle about the base is 1/3, then 200, and then x cube, then plus. Para sa bolts, ang inertia is area distance square. So the area is pi over 416 square times 2, and the distance is 37.5 minus x, and then square. So the moment of inertia is equal to 370,312.0397 millimeter raised to 4. Then next, solve for the moment. So tayo ay magmo-moment sa face of support. So dito na. So the moment is equal to the load, the force 42 times the lever arm 39 millimeters or 0.039 meters. So the moment is equal to 1.638 kilonewton meter. Then to solve for the stresses, we apply MC over I. So yung tensile stress sa bolts and compressive stress dito sa contact area is masosolve using flexure formula MC over I, kasi ang nag-cause ng stress is the moment or the bending. So flexure formula, the bending stress equals MC over I. So para sa bolt which is under tension, so the tensile stress is equal to the moment 1.638 times 1 million para maging Newton millimeter ang unit. And then the distance C is the distance of the bolt from the neutral axis, and that is 37.5 minus x, and then divide by the moment of inertia, 370,312.03. So the tensile stress is equal to 119.73 megapascals. So para sa compressive stress, the moment is 1.638. Ang compressive stress is maximum sa extreme fiber. So dito sa ilalim yung maximum compressive stress. So that the distance from the neutral axis is x. Then divide by the moment of inertia. So 370,312. So the compressive stress is equal to 46.15 megapascals. Situation 24, ito ay pasteboard. So sa problem, merong girder. At sa girder ay may nakakabit na beam. So pinagdikit yung dalawang members, girder and beam, using angles. So yung angles ay dalawa. So isa sa kaliwa at isa sa kanan. Then sa beam web, merong 4 na bolts, no? 4 na D1. At sa girder web naman, merong 8 bolts. So 8 D2. Then subjected yung connection sa load P, and distance ni load P from the web of the girder is the distance E. So ito yung mga tinatanong. So number 70, the load P based on the shear capacity of 4D1. Number 71, the load P based on the bearing capacity of the beam web. And number 72, tinatanong is the tensile stress on the critical bolt. So para sa unang tanong, number 70, so find the load P based on the shear capacity of the 422 mm diameter bolts 4D1. So ito yung i-analyze natin, itong bolts na ito. 4 sila. So 4 na D1. So itong bolt na to, 4D1, ay pwedeng siya, double shear, or pwede rin namang single shear, depende yan sa ina-analyze. So merong part itong bolt na nakabaon sa beam web. So ito yung part na nakabaon sa beam web. At itong part na ito is under double shear. So kapag ina-analyze yung bolt na nakabaon sa beam web, ang analysis ay double shear. Then itong part naman na ito ay nakabaon sa beam angle. So kapag ito naman ang inanalyze, yung part ng bolt na nakabaon sa beam angle, then siya ay single shear. So ang pagiging single or double shear ay depende yon sa ina-analyze na segment ng bolt. So dito muna tayo sa shear on beam web. So i-analyze natin yung bolt na nakabaon sa beam web. So ang bolt na nakabaon sa beam web is under double shear. So double shear. Then ang load is, we use P. Then shear stress is equal to the force over the area. So to solve for the force P, Then dapat si stress ay yung allowable stress. So given yung allowable bolt shear stress 120, the load is P which is unknown. At kung siya ay say assume na naka-kilonewton, so i-multiply ng 1000 para maging newton, and then divide by the area of the bolt. So pi over 4 times diameter of D1 is 22 square, then times 2 kasi double shear, then multiply by the number of bolts, 4. So the capacity based on the shear on beam web is equal to 364.93 kilonewtons. Then analyze naman natin yung part ng bolt na nakabaon sa beam angle. So ito yung part na yon. So siya ay under single shear. And since dalawang sides yung angle, so pag i-analyze natin yung isang side, then the load will be half. So ina-analyze natin isang angle, so isang side. So the allowable shear stress is 120 equals yung load kung isang angle ang ina-analyze is P over 2. Then the area is pi over 4, diameter is 22 square times 1 kasi single shear, then times the number of bolts sa isang side, bale 4. So that the capacity P is equal to 364.93 kilonewtons. So pwede rin natin i-analyze ng sabay yung dalawang angles. So kung sabay, so single shear pa rin yung isang side, pero times 2 kasi magkabila. And then yung load sa isang side is P over 2, pero times 2 kasi magkabila. So the allowable stress 120 equals the load P over 2 times 2 is P. Then divide by the area, so pi over 4, diameter square times 1 kasi single shear. At sa isang side, 4 yung bolts, pero dahil dalawang sides, so times 2 pa. At ang sagot ay the same, 364.93 kilonewtons. So may options tayo. Pwede nating i-analyze yung isang side, isang angle, or pwedeng i-analyze yung dalawang sides, dalawang angles, so same result. So ang magiging capacity is the smallest capacity sa lahat ng na-compute natin, and that is 364.93. So ito na yung sagot sa unang tanong. At ang sagot is letter D. Okay, hindi man tinatanong pero sagutin na rin natin. Find the shear stress on 8D2. So kanina ang sinagot natin shear stress on the bolt D1. So ngayon naman shear stress on the bolt D2. So ito yung bolt D2. So mayroong portion na nakabaon sa girder web. At meron din namang portion na nakabaon sa girder angle. So itong portion na nakabaon sa girder web is under single shear. At ito namang portion na nakabaon sa girder web is also under single shear. Okay, para muna sa girder web, dalawang sides yung bolt na nakabaon sa girder web. Ito yung isang side at ito yung ikalawang side. So pwede nating i-analyze one side or pwede rin namang i-analyze two sides. So ang load sa isang side is kalahati P over 2 and yung bolt is under single shear. So load is P over 2. So the allowable shear stress 120 equals the load P over 2. So kung ang i-analyze ay isang angle, the load is P over 2. Then divide by the area. So pi over 4, diameter is so 22. So actually sa pangatlong tanong binigay yung diameter dito 22. And then times 1 kasi single shear. And then times 4 kasi 4 yung bolts na nakabaon sa isang angle. So that the capacity is equal to 364.93 kilonewtons. So kapag naman ang ina-analyze natin ay dalawang angles, so itong load na to, P over 2, ita times natin ng 2 kasi dalawang sides. At yung denominator, mayroon ding multiplier na 2 kasi dalawang sides. So ang magiging sagot, kung sakaling ina-analyze 2 angles ay same, 364 kilonewtons. Then dito naman tayo sa shear para sa bolt segment na nakabaon sa girder angle. So ito yun ha. Ito yung bolt na nakabaon sa girder angle. So ang load, bali single shear, at ang load ay sa isang angle, sa isang side, P over 2. So analyze one angle. So the allowable shear stress 120 equals the load P over 2, then divide by the area pi over 4, 22 square times 1 kasi single shear, times 4 kasi apat yung bolt sa isang side, sa isang angle. At ang sagot ay 364.93 kilonewtons. So kung dalawang angles ang inanalyze, yung numerator ay may multiplier na 2 at yung denominator meron ding multiplier na 2 at ang sagot the same. Okay, so kung ang tinatanong ay shear capacity, so load P based on shear, then dalawa ang pagpipilian, actually apat na. Okay, so yung dalawa ay manggagaling sa shear ng 4 na D1 at yung dalawa pa ay manggagaling sa capacity naman ng 8 D2. So itong 4 na D1 na to ay merong portion na nakabaon sa beam web at meron ding portion na nakabaon sa beam angle. So ito na nga yung kinompute natin kanina, no? Tapos ngayon naman 8D2, so merong portion ng bolt na nakabaon sa girder web at meron ding portion na nakabaon sa girder angle. So sa problem na ito sa board exam, ang tinatanong lang naman ay shear capacity sa 4D1. So ito yung kinompute natin at ang pinili is smaller. Ngayon, kung hindi sinabi sa problem kung saan tayo magko-compute ng shear, kung sa D1 ba or sa D2, then i-compute natin yung apat na yan. At ang pipiliin natin is the smallest. Pangalawang tanong, number 71. Solve for P based on bolt bearing stress on the web of the beam. Gamitan ng konting imahinasyon, actually, para sa bearing, apat yung possible answers. Pero isa lang ang sasagutin natin kasi nga ang tanong sa exam is the bearing on the web of the beam. So sa bearing, ang relationship ng load and area, perpendicular sila. So kung ang load ay vertical, then ang bearing area is horizontal. So para makita natin yung horizontal area for bearing, then yung figure, tignan natin ang top view. Okay, so ito yung top view, then ito yung girder web, ito naman yung beam web. So ang tinatanong is the capacity P based on the bolt bearing stress on the web of the beam. So ito yung area. So andyan yung bearing stress on the web of the beam. Okay, para sa bearing stress on the beam web, so the bearing stress is equal to the force over area. So para sa beam web, we use the load P. Then the bearing stress is given for 80 equals the load. So kung si P ay nakakilonewton, so times 1,000 ito para newtons, then divide by the bearing area. So given yung diameter D1, 22 mm, given yung thickness ng beam web, 9 mm, so therefore the bearing area is the diameter of the bolt times the thickness of the beam web. Then times 4 kasi 4 yung bolts na nakabaon sa beam web. So that P is equal to 380.16 kilonewtons. So ito na yung sagot sa pangalawang tanong, letter A. Para detalyado yung computations, so sagutin na rin natin kahit hindi tinatanong. So dito tayo sa beam angle. So sagutin natin P based on the bearing on beam angle. So kapag inanalyze yung isang angle, then ang load dito is kalahati lang. So P over 2. So the bearing stress is 480 equals the load P over 2. Then divide by the area. So 22 times the thickness of the angle. So given yung thickness ng angle 6 mm. So 6, and then 4 yung bolts na nakabaon sa beam angle. So ang inanalyze natin dito bale isang angle. So ang sagot is 506.88 kilonewtons. Okay, kung sakali naman ang inanalyze natin ay dalawang angles, so ito yon, dalawa yung areas bale. So ang mangyayari dyan sa computation, yung load ay magiging P over 2 times 2, at yung number of bolts naman, syempre dahil dalawang sides, times 2, at ang result ay the same. Okay, para naman sa bearing on the girder web, so ito yun. So may options tayo, pwede natin i-analyze yung isa lang or pwedeng i-analyze yung dalawa. So bearing on the girder web, so the bearing stress 480 equals the load. So kung isa yung in-analyze, isang side, the load is P over 2. Then divide by the bearing area. So diameter D2 is 22, sabi sa third problem. And yung thickness ng girder web is 12 mm. So the bearing area is the diameter of the bolt times the thickness of the girder web. And then sa isang side, 4 yung bolts, so times 4. So the capacity is 1013.76 kilonewtons. So kung dalawa ang inanalyze, then magkakaroon ng multiplier na 2 yung load at magkakaroon ng multiplier na 2 yung area. So ang result the same. Next, para naman sa girder angle, so ito naman yon. So dalawa sila. The bearing stress is 480. The load is, so kapag inanalyze isang angle, then load is P over 2. And the area is, the diameter D2 is 22 times the thickness of the angle 6. And then para sa isang angle, 4 yung bolts. So ang sagot ay 506.88. So kung dalawang sides ang inanalyze, so magkakaroon ng multiplier na 2 para sa load and multiplier na 2 para sa area. So ang result ay the same. Sa problem na to, sinabi ni examiner na ang bearing stress ay nangyari sa beam web. Kaya ito na lang yung isosolve natin. Ngayon, kung sakaling tinatanong ay P based on bearing, ngunit hindi sinabi kung saan tayo mag-analyze ng bearing, so kailangan nating isolve itong 4 na to. And then ang pipiliin natin is the smallest. So pangatlong tanong, number 72. So given yung load P 300 and given yung eccentricity 50 mm or 0.05 meters, then masosolve natin yung moment. So moment dito sa face na ito. So the moment is equal to the load P times the eccentricity 0.05. So the moment is equal to 15 kilonewton meter. So ang tinatanong sa pangatlo is the tensile stress on the critical bolt. So kapag sinubject natin yung connection sa load P, then itong angle na to ay magbe-bend. So ganito itsura pag nag-bend yung angle. So yung mga bolts na nasa itaas is under tension. At ang compression ay magaganap sa contact area. Pero ang ginawa ni examiner sa problem na to, so ang ginawa niya is, ang nagdala ng compression ay hindi yung contact area, kundi yung bolts. So yung bolts ang pinagdala niya ng compression. Okay, so ganito mangyayari, no? So itong 8 dito, so yung 8 bolts na ito, sila yung magdadala ng bending stress. At ang neutral axis ay nasa centroid ng 8 bolts. So bale nasa gitna. At ito naman yung bending stress diagram. So yung mga bolts na nasa itaas ng neutral ay under tension at yung nasa ibaba ng neutral naman ay under compression. Okay, solve na muna natin yung moment of inertia ng 8 volts. So para sa bolt na ito, ang distance niya from the neutral axis is 80 plus kalahati ng 80, so bali 120. So para sa bolts, ang moment of inertia is simply area distance square. So ang diameter ng D2 is 22. So the area is pi over 422 square. So yan yung area. And the distance nitong bolt na to is 120. And then square. So area distance square. And then 4 silang bolts na ang distances ay 120. So ito yung dalawa na nasa itaas. At itong dalawa nasa ibaba. So bali 4 sila na ang distance ay 120. Then plus itong bolt naman na ito, area is pi over 4 22 square, and the distance naman ng bolt from the neutral is kalahati ng 80, so 40. So area distance square, and then times 4. So 4 din sila na ang distance ay 40. So the moment of inertia is equal to 24,328,493.51 mm raised to 4. So ang tinatanong sa problem is the tensile stress on the critical bolt. So since alam na natin na ang tension ay above the neutral, so ang critical ay yung nasa pinaka itaas na bolt. So bali ito tsaka ito. So silang dalawa yung critical for tension. Then applying the flexure formula, MC over I. So the moment is 15. So times 1 million. And the distance C. So yung distance ng critical bolt from the neutral is 120. Then divide by the moment of inertia. So 24,328,493.51. So the critical tensile stress is equal to 73.99 megapascal. At ang nasa choices ay 74. So answer is letter B. Next problem, situation 18, pasteboard. So meron tayong beam. At sa beam ay may nakakonect na wide T. So si wide T, kapag tinignan natin ng pagganitong direksyon, so ang itsura ay ganito. So ito si wide T. At merong nakakabit na dalawang angles. At yung dalawang angles ay naka-bolt. So ang mga tinatanong, una, number 52, the diameter D1 based on shear. Pangalawang tanong, number 53, the diameter D2 based on shear. And pangatlong tanong, number 54, diameter D2 based in tension. So sa problem, given yung load P, 210. At ang nagdadala ng load na ito ay yung dalawang angles. Then unang tanong, number 52, is solved for D1 based on shear. So yung D1 ay nakabaon siya sa dalawang angles at sa wide T. So i-drawing natin yung cross section ng dalawang angles. So ito yung cross section ng dalawang angles tsaka yung web ng wide T. Then yung bolts natin ay tatlong D1. So merong part ng bolt na nakabaon sa T. At meron ding part ng bolt na nakabaon sa angle. So i-analyze natin pareho. So para sa bolt na nakabaon sa wide T, so ito yon yung nasa gitna, ang load is P. And yung bolt na nakabaon sa T is double shear. So given yung bolt shear stress 150, then equals the load P, which is 210, then divide by the area of the bolt, pi over 4 D1 square times 2 kasi double shear, and then times 3 kasi tatlo yung bolts na nakabaon sa gitna. So that the diameter D1 is equal to 17.24 millimeters. Okay, next, para naman sa bolt segment na nakabaon sa angle, so kapag inanalyze yung isang side, isang angle, then ang load ay kalahati at yung bolt na nakabaon sa isang angle is under single shear. So the allowable shear stress is 150 equals the load. So kung isang angle ang ina-analyze, ang load is P over 2. So 210 over 2. And the area is pi over 4 D1 squared times 1 kasi single shear, then times 3 kasi tatlo yung bolts na nakabaon sa isang angle. So that the diameter D1 is equal to 17.24 mm. So kapag dalawang angles ang inanalyze, then ang load ay magiging times 2 at ang denominator ay magiging times 2. So ang result the same. Okay, so dalawang naging analysis for shear. So una ay sa wide T and pangalawa sa angle. At ang pipiliin natin sa dalawang sagot is the larger value. So nagkataon lang na pareho yung diameters. So kung sakaling magkaiba yan, then ang pipiliin is the larger value. So 17.24. Say walang 18 sa choices, so ang pipiliin natin ay 20 mm. So round up. So bakit hindi 18? Kasi kung pag-uusapan ay commercial size, wala namang 18 mm na commercial size. So ang mga nasa choices dito ay mga commercial sizes. So we choose 20. So wag tayong magtaka kung malaki ang itinalon from 17.24 naging 20 kasi nga commercial size. Okay, pangalawang tanong, number 53. Solve for the diameter D2 based on shear. So, ito yung D2. So, apat sila. Yun ang sabi, apat. So, ito yung side view ng wide T at ito na nga yung apat na D2. So, take note kapag shear, ang load is parallel to the area. And since the area is horizontal, ito, so dapat yung load ay horizontal. Okay, so Pythagorean theorem, so 1 horizontal, 2 vertical. So the slant is square root of 5. Then yung component ng load, ang gagamitin natin is the horizontal component, so equal to P times 1 over square root of 5. So the shear stress is equal to the force over the area. So given yung bolt shear stress 150, then equals the force is the horizontal component. So P is 210, then horizontal component, so times 1 over square root of 5, then times 1000 para maging newtons, then divide by the area of the bolt D2, So pi over 4, D2 is unknown, times 1 kasi yung bolt is under single shear, and then times 4. So apat sila. So that D2 is equal to 14.12 mm. So say, based from the choices, we choose 16. So ang sagot ay 16, letter C. Pangatlong tanong, number 54. Solve for the diameter D2 based on tension. So property, kapag tension, yung force is perpendicular to the area. So yung bolt dito yung under tension. So ito ngayon yung area which is horizontal. So therefore, ang force must be vertical. So bali ang gagamitin natin is the vertical component of the load P. And that is P times 2 over square root of 5. So formula, tensile stress is equal to the force over the area. And given yung bolt tensile stress, 195 equals the force. So P is 210 times 2 over square root of 5 para maging vertical component. And then divide by the area, pi over 4 D2 square. Then apat sila. So that diameter D2 is equal to 17.51 millimeters. So round up tayo. So based from the choices, we choose 20 mm. So ang sagot is letter D.